is the first episode of Full Bloom Fridays, which will be a weekly Facebook Live coming to you from my business, Full Bloom Coaching by Rose, to offer tips and information, either based on experiential data or research, to just help you live your best life. And today, for the first episode, I want to talk about 8 tips for regulating sleep and not hitting the snooze button. So first, I'm not coming at you trying to get you to follow my sleep schedule, right? We all have different ideal sleep schedules. Something that I'm going to be talking about is chronotypes. And so ideally, these tips can cater to whatever your specific circadian rhythm is naturally. But that being said, some of them may apply to you, some of them may not. Listen with an open mind, take what you can, and leave the rest. So, and I added in the not hitting the snooze button, right? So, in my opinion, we can all work on regulating our sleep. And why did I add not hitting the snooze button is because research has shown repeatedly that the more we hit the snooze button in the morning, the more tired we will be throughout the day. So despite what it may seem when you get up first thing in the morning, hitting that snooze button is actually really detrimental to your level of alertness and focus as you go throughout the day. You'll actually be more tired. It's a gradual increase. You hit the snooze button once, you're going to be a little more tired, 2 times, a little more, unless maybe you hit it for a whole hour and a half and get another REM cycle in, but you really even won't be doing that because you can't get that consistent sleep for the whole hour because your alarm keeps going off. So with that being said, if your goal is to stop hitting the snooze button, I feel you. I'm really passionate about this topic of sleep because it's something that has caused me a lot of both strife and challenge and growth. I spent about a solid year at least, trying to break the habit of hitting the snooze button multiple times every morning, could not get out of bed. A lot of that was coming from some medications I was on that were making me really tired, some psych meds. I had hyposomnia for years. So I just want to share some things that have helped me with breaking that habit, and by no means am I perfect now, but certainly much better than I used to be a couple of years ago. So, okay, tip 1 that I have, something that really helped me and that I still use regularly today, is to change the sound that you're waking up to. This, it seems maybe too simple, but it has helped me so much. I will change the song that I'm waking up to in the morning. I have put podcast on my alarm. I have put different noises, birds chirping, whatever it is, because it just seems to be easier to get up in the morning, less mundane, less like routine. Oh, I have to do this. I'll pick a song at night that I'm like, oh yeah, this sounds like it would be exciting to wake up to in the morning. And for me, it works. So something to try. Tip number 2, and this has been so helpful to me. Put your alarm across the room, somewhere you cannot reach it from your bed. And even better, put it outside your room. Here at our house, we do not sleep with our phones in the room. Part of that is because the frequency of the phones actually heightens your brainwave activity. So it's a lot harder to get into delta sleep, which is that really restful, rejuvenating sleep that we all need to consolidate memories, our bodies to repair and reset for the next day. And having a phone too close to your bed can actually prevent you from going into that deep delta sleep. So, but regardless, if you're trying to break that habit of hitting the snooze button, phone needs to be away from your bed or whatever you're using for an alarm. I would recommend using, especially at first, an alarm clock. And just not even having the temptation to immediately start looking at text or emails or who called me during the night that I missed, right? Put the phone far away. Tip 3. Well, okay, so tips 3 and 4 kind of go together. First 2 things to do in the morning, something physical, and drink a ton of water. So not really a ton, right? But like a whole water bottle, that's one of the first things I do in the morning, is drink a water bottle full of water. The recommendation for how much water you drink a day is half of your weight in ounces in water. So I weigh about 120 pounds. I try to drink 60 ounces of water a day. And so first thing that I do in the morning, fill my water bottle and drink that whole thing, and just drink it really fast. You're most dehydrated, ideally, when you first wake up in the morning, because you haven't been drinking water all night. So theoretically, your pee in the morning should be darker than it is at any other point in the day. And during the rest of the day, we're aiming to have close to clear pee, people. That's how much water you should be drinking. So first things in the morning, drink a lot of water and do something physical. Even if it's just when I was really, really trying to break this habit of hitting the snooze button or stumbling around tired for the first like half an hour, the first thing I would do in the morning, I would literally jump out of my bed, just even if it feels silly or exaggerated, jump out of my bed and do some jumping jacks, get down on the ground. I'd do some push-ups, even if it's just not with the intention of it necessarily being an actual workout, but just to get your heart pumping, just to get your brain engaged in a conscious activity. So water, workout, just a little bit. It doesn't have to be, I will run usually after I drink my water. That's when I do my workout during the day. But if first thing you can just do like 5 push-ups on the floor, you will be so much more, like exponentially more awake. At least I am, when the first thing I do is 5 push-ups, 20 jumping jacks, whatever it is. Another alternative to that, even if you don't want to do something very physical, but to get your mind engaged and woken up, is go write. The Artist Way recommends writing 3 pages a day, just free write. So just go journal. Have that be the first thing you do in the morning. Okay, tip 5. Sleep with your natural cycle. So this is something that pretty recently I've just been looking into, reading about, is chronotypes. So there are 4 chronotypes. A lot of the research has been done by Dr. Michael Brewis, a sleep doctor, and there are a couple of other primary researchers in the field who are propagating this idea, this theory. Some books, if you want to do some more independent research, are Internal Time and The Power of When. And you can actually go to www.thepowerofwhenquiz.com to find out what your chronotype is. So this is something that's biological, an innate predisposition to a very specific circadian rhythm. So our circadian rhythms are how we interact with light. And I guess the general idea for a while now has been that most to all of our species have the same circadian rhythm, 24 hours based on the sun. We rise with the sun, we sleep with the sun, or we sleep when the sun goes down, and that's like what's best for all of us. And that's really not true. So there are 4 variations of human circadian rhythms, at least at this point, that seem to be supported by research. And with that, we can find out what are the ideal times during the day to get up, go to sleep, do workouts, do really mentally engaging activities, to eat. Is the best thing for your chronotype to wake up and eat right away, or is it to work out? So you can find out what your chronotype is if you want to, powerofwhenquiz.com. So that's my 5th tip, is just to follow your body, help your body, right? Help your body follow its natural cycle. Tip 6, go to sleep as early as possible, depending on your chronotype, right? So that's going to depend on what your chronotype is. It ranges from about 10 to midnight for one. So they name the chronotypes by 4 different animals. So the night, the person who is most active at night is referred to as a wolf. And for them, the recommended time to go to sleep is midnight. But it's been shown too that sleeping between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m. produces the most rejuvenating sleep. So as much as you can sleep during those hours, you're really getting the ideal amount of sleep. Like I said, we're trying to get into delta wave, which is the slowest brain wave frequency. Theta wave activity is REM sleep, or when we dream. That's actually the best time right after REM sleep to wake up, because you're closest to alpha wave and beta waves, waking states of brainwave frequency. So between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m., between 10 p.m. and midnight, depending on your chronotype, is when the brain and body start to energize again. So a lot of people can probably relate to this, that around like 10 p.m., 10:30, 11, if you're still awake, you kind of start to feel, oh, like I'm waking up again. I have more energy. Like, you know, yeah, maybe I can go out or stay up and do this extra work or whatever. It's like I just drank a cup of coffee. And if you know what I'm talking about, then that seems great in some sense, but really what that re-energizing of your body is doing is it's supposed to be preparing you to be asleep and for your brain to start consolidating memories and your muscles to start repairing and growing and your body to just reset for another day. So that burst of energy is not meant to be the time to go out and party or to stay up and do work and answer emails or whatever else. That time of the day or of the night is really meant to be, that energy is supposed to go to repair, consolidate memories, get your body ready for the next day. And that, like I said, that usually starts between 10 p.m. and 12 a.m. Tip 7, if you can't fall asleep, please do anything besides look at a screen. I cannot emphasize this enough. Staring at screens increases cortisol activity in your brain and your body. You will start to be more awake and it will be harder to go to sleep because you're looking at a screen, whether that is a phone, a TV, a tablet, a laptop, whatever you're doing. The later that you're on a screen, the harder it will be to go to sleep. And please, 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 people, I understand, I am a person too, that it is hard to get off those screens. But really, you're just self-sabotaging by staying on those screens later than really like 1 to 3 hours before you go to bed. Obviously, it's not always practical to put the phone and all the screens away 3 hours even, but even 1 hour before we go to bed. However, as early as you can or as much as you can limit that screen time, especially in bed. Like, again, we don't even bring our phones into our bedroom here. So as much as you can limit that screen time, it will really help you go to sleep earlier. Okay, and tip number 8, this is the last one. If you are lying in bed and you are not tired, you're just lying in bed, especially if you have insomnia, you're lying in bed, you're like, I'm not even tired, I can't go to sleep, suggest or consider doing something in a different place. So studies have been done that people with insomnia have been instructed to, if they're lying in bed, they can't go to sleep, to go somewhere else and do something else restful, but just not in bed. And the reason is because in our hippocampus, in our hippocampi, we have 2 of them, one on each side of the brain. We have these things called place cells. And what place cells do is they register what we do in different areas, like of our house or when we go out. What are the activities that our body does, the movements that we make, the thoughts that we think, the feelings that we feel when I'm in my bedroom or when I'm in my kitchen or when I'm at the grocery store or when I'm getting coffee at the coffee shop down the road. What are the things that I routinely do in these places? And the place cells will register them and then be like, oh, I've been here before. Like, I know what to do, right? And we kind of start doing automatic things. So what in the study with insomniacs, what the researchers had them do was to leave the bed when they aren't tired and to go do something else. And then when they start to get tired, they would go back to bed. And over time with this habit, the brain started to rewire and learn that, oh, when I'm in bed, this is the time to go to sleep. So just a suggestion. It may work for you. It may not. Also, along these lines, as much as you can, minimize the activities that you do in your bed and your bedroom, but especially your bed besides sleeping. So meditation is in your bed, that's not the ideal place to meditate, because one will interfere with the other, right? Either you'll be meditating and you'll fall asleep, or you'll be in your bed and you may not be able to go quite all the way asleep because your brain's used to focusing on, being mindful of your body, or of, whatever you might do while you're meditating. I clear my chakras. And so along those lines, minimize the activities that you do in your bed aside from sleeping. Obviously, there's some things that we like to do in our bed besides sleeping, but just minimize those activities, especially ones with screens. Okay, and last part of that kind of tip of doing something in a different place if you're not tired in bed, rest is better for the body than no rest. So whether you decide to get up and go do something else, or you decide to lay in bed and try to rest, even if you're not tired, pick something that's not going to activate your brain or your body very much, like meditating in a different place, coloring, stretching. Stretching is a great thing because it's really not, it's involving your body, but it's fairly relaxed and not too much mental activity. So if you can't fall asleep in bed, consider going to a different place and doing something restful, or at least don't look at the screen. Okay, so those are my 8 tips for regulating sleep and not hitting the snooze button. This is Rose. This is Full Bloom Fridays. So this is the first in a series of weekly Facebook Lives that will be coming to you. After today, they will be coming to you from my Facebook business page, Full Bloom Coaching by Rose. And I'm actually going to launch that immediately after this live. So if we're friends, you'll probably be getting a request from me to like my page, which I'd appreciate if you do, but no offense taken if not. If you do appreciate these health tips though, they'll be coming to you every Friday and more regularly even, with articles or posts. So I encourage you to check them out, and I hope that you have a great weekend and a great week next week. I'll see you next Friday.